Gravity will propel this Lexus IS over 4,000 feet in a matter of seconds. This Lexus IS will attempt to cover the same distance even faster. The 306 horsepower Lexus IS 350. So much for gravity. See Lexus of Fort Wayne.
I'm Heather Herron. News Channel 15 delivers coverage you can count on.
Good evening, I'm David Scott.
And I'm Heather Herron. The CBS Sunday Evening News will not be seen tonight so that we may present this Wayne TV Focus 15 election special.
The American political process is very important to us here at News Channel 15.
Part of that process is the open debate of issues. Tonight we bring together the three candidates for Allen County Sheriff to debate those issues in an open and live forum.
Sponsoring this debate are Wayne TV and the Mike Down Center for Indiana Politics. Now live from the Williams Theater on the campus of IPFW, the moderator of tonight's debate, Mark Mellinger.
And welcome to tonight's debate live from the Williams Theater on the IPFW campus. The candidates will be asking each other the questions tonight. They'll be doing that within certain time limits, and I'll be keeping track of those. So first, let's go ahead and meet the candidates. Tina Taviano, is the Democrat candidate. Ken Freeze, the Republican candidate, and P.J. Smith is an independent. Before we get started, I do want to thank Cable Access TV for providing tonight's facilities as well as equipment. Well, earlier we drew to see who would ask the first question, and Ken Freeze is going to start us off.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I've lived my entire life in Allen County. I've been married 19 years to my wife and have 3 good boys. I started my career in law enforcement when I was 16 years old as an Allen County Police cadet. From there, I got hired as a confinement officer when I was 21 years old and became a police officer when I was 22 years old. I've had the privilege of working in the confinement division, the communications division, the traffic division, the detective division, and I'm currently the chief deputy. I also spent 23 years on the SWAT team, commanded that for 16 years. Throughout my career on this department, I have met many officers from many different jurisdictions and have great working relationships with them. I am the most decorated officer that's ever run for the Sheriff of Allen County. And I'm doing this because I know that I can do the best job for the citizens of Allen County. By working together with the city police department, the state police department, the federal government, and the citizens of Allen County, we can make a difference in Allen County. Allen County and Fort Wayne is a great place to live. We can make it even better. My parents chose to raise their family here. I've chosen to raise my family here. My family is very important to me, just as I'm sure yours is to you. And by us all working together, we can make sure that this is the safest community for all of us to live in. My question to the other 2 candidates, why should you be the Sheriff of Allen County?
And P.J. Smith, you will be the first to respond to that. Go ahead, you have a minute.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. Well, I would say because I'm unquestionably more qualified than either of my opponents. To Tina's credit, she has earned a master's degree. I only have a bachelor's degree, but I do have more command experience. For the last 6.5 years, I have had the honor and privilege of serving as the captain of the Northwest Division of the Fort Wayne Police Department, which is about the size of the Auburn, Bluffton, and Kendallville Police Departments combined. The 60 men and women of this division are some of the most outstanding individuals I've ever met. Thanks for everything you do. You are amazing. You know, I think anybody that comes into the sheriff's office has to have the command experience. Otherwise, I think you're asking for failure. I have that command experience.
And now, Tina Taviano, it's your turn to respond.
Thank you very much. I also have been on the Sheriff's Department for over 24 years, and I have a business degree from St. Francis University and a master's degree from Indiana University. And this is about serving and taking care of our community. It's also about running one of the largest parts of county government. I have command experience as well. I've served as a supervisor in 3 divisions of our department. I spent 10 years as a volunteer firefighter, reaching the rank of combat district chief and elected EMS chief before retiring from that. It's also about community service. I currently serve on the Aaron's House Board for Grieving Children, the Scam Prevention Through Education Board, the Mayor's Community Service Council, Planet Allen, and the Ivy Tech Criminal Advisory Board, Criminal Justice Advisory Board. I spent 7 years on the Mayor's Commission for Domestic Violence. This is about keeping our community and children safe. It's about keeping our families safe. And my background is in that and doing the job of keeping us safe. Thank you.
We are through the first question. Now P.J. Smith will ask the second.
Thanks, Mark. I believe the chief law enforcement officer of the county should represent every voter. In my humble opinion, it is wrong for the sheriff to be controlled by the Democratic or Republican Party. I believe the sheriff's office should be a bipartisan position, elected the same way we elect school board member. I get very nervous when the chief law enforcement officer of the county is controlled by one political party. I would like to know if Tina and Ken think it is wrong for the chief law enforcement officer of Allen County to represent a partisan political party.
Tina Taviano, you'll be the first to respond.
I've said all along that this is about what best serves our community. And with that, judges are nonpartisan. The sheriff and the prosecutor should be as well. This is about what's doing best for our community. The idea behind choosing the political party should not influence the fact that we enforce the laws. We don't make them. We're enforcing the laws equally, fairly, and justly to all residents of Allen County. And that's what's really, really important here. So I'm running as a Democrat, but I will serve all of you equally, fairly, and justly. That's what we need to be considering. And that's why I'm talking about community advisory boards. That's why I'm talking about having multiple agencies work together, because it doesn't have anything to do with partisanship. It has to do with keeping our children and families safe, and that's what we'll work hard to do for.
And now, Ken Freese, it's your turn to respond.
I think the only one that exerts any control over the sheriff is probably the sheriff's wife. There is no political party that's going to have an effect on me as a sheriff. When I'm elected, I represent everybody. I'm not beholden to anyone. I'm beholden to everyone. And to think that a political party would have control over anyone troubles me. My Republican views are my Republican views, and that I'm a value-based shopper. If I'm going to spend $1, I want to get value for it. I'm not going to waste your tax dollars. My views are conservative, that we don't spend the money that we don't have to spend. Family comes first with me, and there is no party, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, or Independent, that's going to control the sheriff's office when I'm in office.
So we're through our second question and response. Now the third. Tina Taviano, you have the honor of asking that one.
A couple of the top issues that have come out in this race so far seem to focus a lot on the issue of 911 centers, and I do want to talk about that. We need to work together. We need to work hard to keep our community safe, and we can do that with this issue of combining the 911s. It's time that the glass wall does come down. Right now, Allen County wants to spend thousands of dollars to build up a backup system when New Haven could function as a backup system. Homeland Security recommends that we use one unity of command in dealing with 911 issues. Our problem right now is that the right hand and the left hand don't know what they're doing when they're divided by a glass wall and that they're arguing over it. It's the issue of keeping the community safe. We've got to know that when a call's transferred, it's transferred properly and it's done right there. It doesn't have to go down the road or down the block or across the room. The important issue in this whole thing is that it's governed by a board that equally represents the city, the county, and the officials of the township fire departments and EMS as well. It's not about control. It's about including everyone and being sure that we're serving our community safely. We must stop the short-sighted management practice and move forwards towards this long-term solution in combining 911. The residents of rural Allen County, as well as the residents of the city of Fort Wayne, should be assured that the response they get from 911 means that they're going to get police, fire, and EMS quickly, accurately, and respectively of the departments that are in their jurisdiction. But we need to work together. It's imperative that we talk about this in terms of just this certain service. This is not about Unigov. This is about safety. This is about doing what keeps our community safe and knowing that in the long run we have to be this well prepared in the event of any type of catastrophic event. Opinions of my opponents.
And Ken Freese will be first to respond.
Thank you. Combined communications has been on the topics for ages. County council, city council all say we need to get it combined. I've had members tell me just get it combined. And my biggest problem with it is, what's it going to cost? And is it going to get a fire truck or an ambulance or a police car to somebody's house faster? I worked in dispatch for 3 years. Those people have a horrific job to do. When you have a woman on the phone screaming and crying that's trying to save her 2-year-old that drowned in a pool, the question is, can we get somebody there faster? And having a board look at it's not a bad idea. I can tell you it's going to cost more money. Our dispatch came up with the numbers, $1.5 million is what it's going to cost. There are 80 employees down there that could currently cut it down to 75 with the combination, but we're still going to have the towers we have to pay for. We're still going to have the radio shops we have to pay for with the same amount of cars that have to be worked on. So the bottom dollar is it going to get somebody to the house faster? Is it going to save us any money?
P.J. Smith, your turn to respond.
I agree with Tina. I believe the Allen County Emergency Dispatch Center should be integrated with the Fort Wayne Dispatch Center as soon as possible so that emergency services can be provided to the citizens of Allen County more effectively and efficiently. An example would be sending the closest unit to help someone in trouble, regardless if they are a city or a county unit. Other operators of emergency communication systems, such as New Haven, in our school systems could also be included in this integration if they wanted to be. Remember that good communication is second only to outstanding leadership. I think the Emergency Dispatch Center should be integrated and controlled by a board of emergency service providers, with the sheriff being one voting member of this board.
So we're through the first round of questioning. Now it's time to move on to the second. And again, Ken Freeze will start us off.
Thank you, Mark. Drugs. We've been talking about that for a long time. Drugs are the biggest problem facing Fort Wayne, Allen County, northeastern Indiana. I think we all up here can agree to that. The drugs cause 60, 80, 90% of the problem with crime. Thefts, burglaries are all derived from drugs, the drug trade. Fort Wayne is positioned in a place geographically where we are a major drug route between all the major cities. I have proposed an interdiction team to be set up. I went through interdiction class back in 1994. We were going to start it then. The problem was police officers out working vandalisms and burglaries don't have time to work interdiction. We helped DEA make a traffic stop on State Road 3 and I-69 over the summer. They were very disappointed because the car only had $34,000 in it. They'd stopped the same woman in New York 6 months earlier with $1.3 million in it. Drugs and money are coming through Fort Wayne all the time. Our Vice Narcotics Division says $1 million a month easily. We need to have officers that are specifically trained to work interdiction and have the time to go out and do it. All of our officers are trained in drug recognition. Our Vice Narcotics Division last year, several years ago, taught us about meth and the things to look for. What we need to do is also educate society on what to look for, because we need your help. Sir Robert Peel said when police officers first became civilianized, the police should do full-time what the citizens should do part-time. We need to remind the citizens they have a part-time job to do. We need your help. We can't do it alone. But with the interdiction teams out there, we can have a dent and make an effect on crime and drugs in Allen County.
And P.J. Smith, you'll be the first to respond to that.
Well, I agree with Ken. I think drugs are a major problem in Allen County. They probably drive, I'd say, 95% of our crime. Here's the problem. Drugs are coming into this country faster than law enforcement can do anything about it. Why? Because people want them. I think sooner than later, the American people are going to have to make a choice, and they're going to have to say either we tolerate a certain type of drug or we provide severe penalties for people caught with that drug. You know, when I was on the SWAT team, I remember going back to the same house 2 and 3 times, and this is not unusual. All I can promise, if I'm the sheriff, is to try to keep a lid on the pot, keep it out of your neighborhood, keep it from being blatantly used in your neighborhoods. That's the best I think we'll be able to do.
Tina Taviano, your turn to respond.
Well, I believe that all of our officers, in my administration, all of our officers, not just a task force of a few, will focus our efforts on stopping those that hurt our loved ones, that perpetrate crimes against children, such as molestings, and who are ruining their lives with the illegal drugs. We had a training session this spring where an officer came up to me afterwards, a meth training, and said, "Man, I must have missed some things before." And this is exactly why it's going to be the average officer on the street, the average officer doing assignments, going out in homes and making traffic stops that are really going to tackle these problems for us as well. The other part is in prevention education. That has to be one of the key components. It has to be with prevention education, but it takes all of our officers, not a task force of a few. The other issue that is a priority as well, and that is the area of domestic violence. That's terrorizing our homes as well. Violence is a learned behavior, and we have to work to break that cycle, do everything we can to protect our children and our families, and focus truly on keeping the violence out of our homes, off of our streets, and most importantly, away from our kids.
Time for the next question. NPJ Swift.
Thanks. As many of you know, I'm not a politician and have chosen not to accept money to run my independent campaign for sheriff despite numerous offers. Some people believe that I'm not to be taken seriously because I have refused to accept money. Others believe that you have to spend money to get your word out. Whatever happened to somebody getting elected based solely on their past performance and what they have done in the community? I've spent 23 years getting my message out. I believe that all too often money given to politicians comes with strings attached. Senator John McCain knows this and is pushing for campaign finance reform. While Senator McCain is talking about it, I'm doing it. In my opinion, our government has become for sale to the highest bidder by politicians who sell their influence to collect money to run their present or future campaigns. We are being governed by the independently wealthy and by those who don't mind asking others for money. Many good people want to run for office but are turned off by the thought of collecting money for a campaign. I believe it is dead wrong for law enforcement officers to collect and spend other people's money in their bid to become sheriff because it could place them in a compromising position. I'd like to know what Tina and Ken think.
And Tina, you'll be the first one to respond.
Well, I've promised no one anything for any of the financial contributions that have been given to my campaign. You know, people give to campaigns because they believe in the same ideals that the candidate does, that it's the things that they want to see change in their community, that they give money to help further that cause, if you will. Honesty and integrity are the most important things to me, and there's absolutely no way I'd make anyone a promise for a financial contribution or take money knowing that it had any type of strings attached. That's just not what we're about in law enforcement. Again, it's serving everyone equally, fairly, and justly across the board, and that's what I intend to do. But it does take money to get the message out to the average voter, and we do appreciate the fact that a lot of average voters are watching today as well.
And Ken, your response.
Tina's right. It takes money to get the message out. And I have promised people stuff that have given me money. I promised them to do the best job I possibly can. I am not beholden to anyone. I'm beholden to everyone. And I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people here in Allen County that have donated money. I got a $10 check in the primary from an old couple that they put a note on it that said that's the most they can afford. But they really wanted me to win. And out of all the money I got, that meant the most. It's not about the money. And I'm not taking this job for the money. The money that we spend, Tina and I both, on the campaigns is to get our message out. I know PJ had to get 1,300 signatures. Does that mean he's beholden to those 1,300 people? It may not be money, but it's a signature. All this money is going to do is get the message out, to let the voters know who the best person for the job is. And I think on November 7th, they'll speak loud and clear.
Tina Taviano, you are next to set the agenda.
I made a proposal a while back about random drug testing for the Sheriff's Department. Surprisingly enough, we do not have that program, and that's been the answer I've heard from a lot of people. You mean you don't have that already? You know, we're involved in setting the tone for the community. We actually have the Law Enforcement Against Drugs program where we're selling drug testing kits to families. School systems have random drug testing. Businesses have random drug testing. It's time that the Sheriff's Department holds ourselves to that same level of accountability. It's standard. It's a matter of public trust, and it's a matter of keeping people safe. It starts in our own house. If we're going to talk about it with others, it starts in our own house. I don't believe that we have a problem within the department, and as I would start this program, that we would offer anyone the opportunity to come forward to get treatment or anything if needed. But the fact is, I believe that the Sheriff's Department should have random drug testing. It's a matter of public safety, it's a matter of public trust, and most importantly, it still says the message that we want to keep our children and families safe, and we're willing to do it for ourselves to help protect you. And I'd like to hear the position of my two opponents on random drug testing.
And Ken Freeze, you'll be first to respond.
And I'm against random drug testing. I will disagree with both of my opponents here, especially for police officers. Tina earlier said honesty and integrity is very important, and it is for police officers. My father told me it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and 10 seconds to lose it. City Police Department has random drug testing. They will tell you that there's a 3% positive false on the tests. If you're one of those 3%, your reputation is ruined forever. It happened with the city officer when they were doing a different kind of test than they are now. We in the county found out about it the same night that it happened, that, oh my God, this guy tested positive for drugs. Reasonable suspicion is what it takes to test somebody for drugs, as far as I'm concerned. The LEADS program we have, where parents come and buy drug kits for their kids, I don't have to buy them for my kids. I know my kids aren't on drugs. The parents that come and buy those buy them because they have a suspicion their kids are using drugs. If we have a suspicion, our officers ought to be tested. But I will not do random drug testing for our department.
And P.J. Smith, your thoughts?
Well, I have to agree with Tina. The Fort Wayne Police Department has been drug testing officers for quite some time, and I believe it is the right thing to do. Police officers must be above reproach. Drug testing helps to maintain the integrity of the agency. We have had to terminate several officers who tested positive for illegal substances. I do not believe any of us want to work with an officer who is abusing drugs. Ken believes that we should not drug test officers because it would mean we do not trust them. As Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify.
And candidates, it's time for you to take a breather. We will be back in just a moment.
When severe weather strikes, count on the live Doppler 15 storm team to deliver you second-by-second weather information. Tracking storms.
We've been tracking those thunderstorms here from the live Doppler 15 Fury Weather Center.
Second-by-second updates.
A tornado was spotted with this particular cell.
Continuous coverage.
These showers are moving towards the east. There is some reports of urban flooding.
A tornado touchdown which was predicted.
News Channel 15 delivers weather coverage you can count on.
The IPFW Omnibus Lecture Series presents Alfre Woodard on campus November 13th. Her talk is free and open to the public. Doors open at 6:30.
Are you ready for the election November 7th? To find out where to vote, how to contact your county election board, and more about your legislators, visit IndianaVoters.com or call the number on the screen. And don't forget your photo ID when you vote. The following types of ID will apply in most cases. All the details are online.
We are back. It's time for our candidates' closing statements. And again, we will start with Ken Freeze.
Thank you, Mark. Like I said earlier, I've lived in Allen County all my life. I've got a wife and 3 boys. We live here in Allen County. This is, I think, the best county to live in around here. I just spoke with an officer that used to live here, is in LAPD now. He called me yesterday and horribly upset about how things are going out there. And I thought, how lucky we are to actually live here. But we can do better. I've lived under the adage that good is not good enough. I've learned that throughout my life, that we can always do better. My family is the most important thing I have to me, just as I know that your family is the most important thing that you guys have. I've spent my entire adult life serving this community, making a difference, and that's what I will continue to do as your sheriff. The job of being sheriff doesn't make me special. I'm not doing it for the title. I'm not doing it for the money. My wife and kids are what make me special. On November 7th, you all have a choice. One of the 3 of us will be the next sheriff of Allen County. And you get to decide on that day who you want to represent you, who you think is going to do the best job for you, who is going to represent you not only here in Allen County, but statewide. And I think if you look at the leadership and the experience that I've had on this department, 24 years in the various divisions, the most awarded officer that's ever run for the sheriff, for the position of sheriff, I think on November 7th you'll find that I am the most qualified for the job, and that I will do the best with you, working together with you to make this the safest place that we can raise our families. We can always do better. Thank you.
And P.J. Smith, the next closing statement is yours.
Thanks, Mark. First of all, I just want to say thanks to all those who have supported me and loved me throughout my life. I will never forget any of you. I also want to say it has been an honor and privilege to have served for 23 years with the men and women of the Fort Wayne Police Department. You truly are the thin blue line that separates good from evil. When I think of heroes, I think of you and a lot of other outstanding individuals who perform selfless acts for others every day and never say a word. Please compare our qualifications and what we stand for when choosing your next sheriff. I believe you will find that I'm the most qualified person for the position, with the vision to lead the Allen County Police Department into a new era of cooperation with every municipality and town in the county. I was at a neighborhood meeting this week and listened to a presentation from a remarkable woman named Jane Avery, who runs the Community Harvest Food Bank. Jane needs $50,000 this year to provide Thanksgiving dinner to the less fortunate in this community. $370,000 will be spent on this sheriff's campaign. Take a moment to think of what that money could have bought. I'm not a politician. I'm just an ordinary guy standing here tonight trying to make a difference. I cannot make you think or vote for me, but I can offer you a choice to business as usual. Please visit my website at www.pjsmithforsheriff.com. Thanks for listening.
And Tina Taviano, the last word tonight is yours.
This race is about leadership. It's about managing one of the largest parts of county government, an agency that has 358 employees and a $20 million budget. It's about keeping you safe, keeping our children and families safe. I've dedicated my life to a lot of community service, as I've already told you about earlier. I've prepared myself for this job by having a business degree and a master's degree in public affairs administration. I know through my work in all the boards that I've served on and giving interviews with children in Child Advocacy Center that protecting our families, protecting our kids is absolutely the most rewarding part of this job. It's not about plaques on the wall. I've prepared myself for this job for my lifetime as well, and I am ready to continue my service. It's a matter of a track record, and I've shown that I have the knowledge, the skills, the ability, and the education to do this job as your leader. You've heard a lot of differences tonight about combined, not combined 911, random drug testing, drugs. We didn't even talk much about the downtown building issue, which I'm in favor of the Sheriff's Department being downtown, to serve all of our community where it needs to be connected with the rest of the criminal justice system. We didn't get a chance to talk about officers getting out of the jail, to be out on the street doing cop work where they need to be instead of working in the jail environment. And we didn't talk much yet about technology and advancements and being progressive in keeping track of sex offenders by overlaying maps with bus stops in the sex offender registry. These are other things that are very, very important, but the most important is my record of service to you and my ability to do the job. And I'd appreciate your support coming up in the election. Thank you so much for tonight.
And that will wrap up tonight's debate. It has certainly been an engaging evening. Audience, why don't we give these candidates a round of applause? And a big thanks to you at home as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and don't forget to be with us Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. It'll be the 3rd District Congressional Debate between Tom Hayhurst and Mark Souter. Again, you'll see it right here on News Channel 15. I'm Mark Mellinger. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening. Good night from the Williams Theater on the IPFW campus.
When severe weather strikes, count on the live Doppler 15 storm team to deliver you second-by-second weather information. Tracking storms.
We've been tracking those thunderstorms here from the live Doppler 15 Fury Weather Center.
Second-by-second updates.
A tornado was spotted with this